So Pogchamps 2 is back, and today I'm sharing the matchup between xQc and Easywithaces. Easywithaces started with the white pieces in the first game because it is a two-game match, and began with the Queen's Gambit declined variation. And here there's a very tricky, very tricky position because the knight moving here is actually not losing a pawn. It seems like you're losing this pawn because of the pin, but you're actually not losing the pawn because after take, you can not take the pawn with the knight, because after the queen is lost, there's this very nice idea winning the queen right back. And the insane thing about this match is that not only do you find this great idea in this match, but you actually find it in another match, in the second game, which I'll share in just a bit. So it's a crazy idea. And also the reason that this works is because if instead white takes first here, well, the knight can retake, gaining the control here. What happened in the game was that xQc played bishop to d7 instead, and now this doesn't work because if you take here, the same thing happens and it works. But if you take the knight, there's no knight to retake here and gain control, so the queen has to take, and then you just win a pawn. So already Easywithaces up a pawn, but that doesn't really mean much in the start of a game, especially with beginners. Here, not only are you targeting the queen, but also targeting a fork, so it's very nice that xQc found this amazing idea. And now, full center control is gained by Easywithaces, which is not something you typically see. And a key thing in this game is that the players castled on opposite sides. When players castle on opposite sides, like what happened in this game, it's a pretty big sign that there's going to just generally be more attacking, because players are less, careful with their pawns next to the other king, because there's no king here that they're going to be weakening. So there's just going to be more attacking going on in this game, which is exactly what happened. The queen is sent here already attacking the pawn, which the queen gets. This was a nice discovery attempt by xQc, but it doesn't work because of this threatening mate. So the only logical move is knight here, attacking their own knight and defending for mate. But Easywithaces decides to check anyways. The queen is sent back here, and now rather than trading queens, Easywithaces continues to attack, which is a big idea. If you're on the attacking side, you don't want to start trading. You want to continue continue your attack rather than trading away the pieces that you need in order to attack. So more checks happen. xQc gets tired of the queen being close and starts kicking it away. But the queen here is just such a vital piece that it's gonna be very, very hard for black to defend from it. So it's very nice that Easywithaces did not trade it. Here the pawn structure is broken with this very nice knight taking here move, but the problem is it's just too late. There's already so many pieces next to the king, and even with more attacking possibilities for xQc, after this very nice check, winning the bishop, the game is basically over. And after just doubling the rooks, you'll notice how important the queen becomes with this very nice queen move here, check, king forced back, and now mate. So game 2, xQc has the white pieces, and in this game the carlsen defense was played, which is typically not found in beginner gameplay, but it's a very solid defense. And you'll notice that in both games, full center control was gained by Easywithaces, which is something you never want to allow, both e4 and d4, or in this case e5 and d5, to be played. It's not something that you want. Notice that this move is actually very good though, stopping this fork, because the pawn would not actually be able to take. And here there is a very nice idea. It is hard to find, but you actually, once the knight moves out, you actually can take this pawn, because if the queen takes, or the bishop takes the queen, well, now you win the queen right back. So in both games, this actual idea of sacrificing a queen to win it right back occurs, which is very rare. These are basically the only two instances where it can happen. There's others, but these are very two common ones. But here instead, h3 was played, just trying to kick out this annoying bishop, but instead the knight was traded. And you'll notice how pleasant the position is if you're looking at it from, black's perspective. There's this very nice development here with both pawns, both knights. It's just very pleasant, and usually that's just going to mean that it's going to be very hard for white to continue the game because of this awesome control that Easywithaces has. And that's kind of what happens. You'll notice that white has to take this very passive approach to develop their pieces, which is okay, but you're already kind of transitioning into the middle game, and black just has this crushing position here. it's just going to be very hard for white to really do anything. Now, white does, trade the pieces here. Generally, if your opponent has a better position than you, trading the pieces is obviously, good because they have better pieces. But here, this bishop is actually very good for you because it's on a very long diagonal. So trading it might not be the best move. But it is a move nonetheless. Now, what I like is playing c4 before moving out the knight, which is what happened. I think this is a very good idea that xQc, performed here, because this, pawn otherwise would be very sad, and especially having this lone d pawn with no e pawn, you need a pawn to assist it essentially. So I think that this was a very good move. And you'll notice again just how pleasant it is. You have these two central rooks, two central pawns. But here is where, Easywithaces made the big mistake, I think, which is trading off the pieces. You should not trade if you have such a nice position, because, well, obviously you have such a nice position. You don't want to trade that off. Even though here you do end up, winning a pawn, you don't want to really trade typically. Now, although you could force a draw here, xQc obviously does not want to do that because if you do force a draw, he still loses because he lost the first game. The way you force a draw is once the queen comes here. This is obviously a forced draw, and if the king instead just hops back, obviously this is a forced draw. So there is a way to force a draw, but obviously that's not really something that you want to do here. In xQc, instead of doing it, drop the queen back, with maybe ideas of checking here and defending this pawn and trying to bring it forward. It's a good idea. It just doesn't work because of how vulnerable this king is here. Once the king moves, you end up losing the pawn. So from here, it's just a really hard position to play with xQc. This is a good move, defending this promotion square, but once the queen assisted, there's nothing you can do. And the game from this position is basically over. And you'll notice that in just a couple of moves, Easywithaces mates again. So Easywithaces won both of the games, and I have to admit it's not something that I expected. I think xQc is a very great player, and he's improved a ton, but it's just been very unlucky in these two games. He's just found very harsh positions, and well, that's how the game ended. For more chess videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out my website, and peace out.